welcome back to Practically Magic 2026. Here we are again, back at the Rising Moon Minerals Shop. I am one of your hosts, Courtney Pearl.
I'm Jaime Osbar.
Thanks for joining us again because we have a lot to talk about today. A lot.
Yeah.
You guys, we had the new year, so we want to talk about coming into the new year. But I have to start with this card pull that we usually do. I feel a little foggy, like I'm like back at school again, after the break, and you're like, what are we doing?
Getting back into the groove.
Yeah, into the groove of what we do. So I'm pulling this card for us today. I think this is really interesting because I just had a reading where someone asked me, she asked me something like, what do I need to embrace in the new year or something like that? What's my new year card? And I pulled this exact card and I pulled it today, random, shuffled all the cards, but I brought the same deck because I was like, oh, it's already out. It's right there. I love the vibe. I'm going to bring this deck. This is the Mythic Goddess deck. And this is the card that came up. Okay, I'm going to show you. It is the Queen of Swords. And I think this is really awesome. Just before I say anything about what it means, what did you think of when you saw this image?
Connecting it to the new year, coming into a quote unquote new year, right? Because I'm learning a lot about like what the Gregorian calendar is as opposed to what the wheel of the year and blah blah, the lunar calendar, all these things. So I'm like hearing bits and pieces of information and starting to actually realize why New Year's Eve and the whole New Year celebration has never been like a big thing for me. It's never been like I'm going to go out and party and I'm going to have this big thing. It's almost like those are the times that things come up that frustrate and irritate me every
Rightly
year.
so. Yeah.
It's so interesting. But anyway, as we're talking about coming into a new year numerically, I'm going to call it that. Numerically, it's a new year. We've gone from 2025 to 2026.
According to somebody.
According to some man somewhere.
2,000 years ago. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, so coming into this new year, this like reset, to see a feminine energy come out of the cards felt good to me. It felt good to have this year be focused on this card. So it wasn't anything like particular, like big. It was more of like, yeah, that feels good.
Yeah. And you're right. Because Queen of Swords, when I read tarot, and this is again just how I was taught it, how it feels right to me, the kings and queens of the different suits are actual people, like embodying some type of archetype or character, or this is an actual person. So a lot of times when I have a reading, I'll pull this out and I'll either say, I feel that this card is you, it's representing you, or someone that is like this. And the Queen of Swords, so this is being represented kind of more as an air element. So in mind and communication, which can apply to what I'm about to say. But I read the Queen of Swords as fire element. So she is to me a very bold personality. She's somebody very confident. She doesn't really care or worry about what other people think of her. And she is the kind of friend you want to have when you're going out to a bar or something like that. If you were going out partying or you were doing something like that may put you in vulnerable positions, she's going to be that friend that's not going to let anybody touch you, not going to let anybody spike your drink, not going to let anybody push or shove you, because she's kind of the B word. If kids are in the car listening, is being generous there. But she's that energy. Like, she's like, no, you don't touch my friend. I'm going to say something. Like, she can also be really direct, so it can seem harsh. Or, if you were the type of person that was like, don't tell me the truth, I just want all sunshine and rainbows, she's not your best friend there. But she's going to say, yeah, that outfit does not suit you. It doesn't look good on you. Let's find you something else. Like, she's not trying to hurt your feelings, but she's going to be direct. So this is action oriented more in my mind. She's more of an outward personality. But I love when the air element is shown because you just see the clouds behind her,
And her dress is blowing in the wind,
just
and yeah.
blowing in the wind. The air element, I think, is really special here because I have sort of been trying to um, understand what it means to be a silent observer of things and not so much like, oh, I got to say something here or I got to like involve myself there, but just being more of a quiet energy to whatever's going on.
Mhm.
So being able to hold a strong, bold confidence in myself, but maybe quietly, like,
Yeah. Finding that balance of being confident, but not saying, "Hey, look at me, I'm confident." It's yeah, trying to find that
yeah.
balance of because when there's a type of person that's like, "I am this. Listen to me. I'm this. Me," and they're constantly telling people, "This is who I am." It's almost like they're overcompensating
hmm
and trying to say, "I know you see who I really am, but
Let me tell you
let me tell you who I am so that you
something.
can get a different idea of who I am." So I think, yeah, that's
So me.
it makes sense. I don't see you that way.
I see myself that way.
But
I'm like,
like
I'm good. I'm good. I promise. Let me tell you all of the things about myself rather than just embodying it, right?
right.
Just being it and just being the example. I think of this as the type of mother, which I am not. I wish I was. The type of mother where she doesn't actually have to tell her kids like, "Hey, stop doing that," or whatever they're doing, guiding them and disciplining them and whatever she's doing. She has this sort of influence where she can just do it with a look, where she can just, you know, that like
Yeah.
queenly energy. I don't know how else to describe it, but just going,
Yeah. Well, it's not
"Yes."
okay.
Mhm.
Why
And
are we
everybody
doing
just
that?
like, oh, you know,
Mhm.
she's the observer, she's the kind of power in the room, but without outwardly doing it, without being loud and which typically the Queen of Swords I would think of as loud and, bold and like doing it outwardly. But because the air element kind of pulls this card quite heavily in this deck, particularly, it's sort of more of a I know my worth. I don't have to tell everybody.
Yeah.
I don't have to show it. I'm doing that. So I love that feminine energy of going into um and again it was kind of that idea with the card reading and the intention of the pull being what is my card for 2026. But for us, this is just us. This is just now what do we want to say or what do we want to move into this? And because yes, the numbers changed
Yeah.
on the calendar. That's kind of our topic today is talking about how, again, that is the Gregorian calendar and that is, just numbers changing, but cyclically, seasonally, and astrologically, it really doesn't mean a new year. It doesn't mean that huge shift we all do when we celebrate New Year's and we see the clock change at midnight and we think there's this huge shift happening. It's actually not really like
It's
that.
really not.
It's really not.
And I think that's where I always have felt that frustration of I build up to this is gonna be a new year and we're gonna have this big celebration and everything's gonna be different. And obviously that's something that I did to myself. I taught myself that or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And then it was always this huge letdown of, well, guess what? We're still in the midst of winter.
Yeah.
We're still in the cold season, the season where we're supposed to be turning inward and resting and relaxing and it's this is what makes sense to me now is like, okay, so this is not the time to be making big bold plans
Mm-mm.
and putting new things into my life and trying to do all the things. It's the time to go,
Yep.
let's reflect.
Yep.
Let's reflect on this past year. Let's look at the things that worked and the things that didn't work and let's start thinking about what we want to do differently so that when
Yeah,
spring comes we can start putting new life into those things. So
absolutely.
those are the things that are making more sense to me and like reflecting back on the previous years of my life and why I would get so angry and so frustrated and so let down of
Yeah.
building myself up to this thing that was like, that's not actually what it is.
Yeah.
So now I'm actually kind of looking forward to the whole lunar new year
Yeah.
and going from the year of the snake to the year of the horse and or the yeah and like that whole thing.
The shift that's going to happen. I mean,
Hmm.
in astrology, we're coming towards the end of the cycle of the 12 signs, which start, end with Pisces. So it would be the February, March time that would end and then the new cycle begins. And for the Celtic calendar, actually December 21st, which was the winter solstice, starts cycle one, but there isn't it's the death cycle that starts a new cycle rather than um, what we're actually going to feel or what's going to come up with the lunar new year. It's going to be the springtime uh, rebirth. So it's almost to me like there's this period of time between winter solstice and Imbolc or Ostara, the spring equinox. It's sort of this limbo phase. It's not like this Happy New Year, like fireworks, and we're like ending, beginning, like all at once you're celebrating the end of a year and the beginning of a new year, and it happens at midnight, and it's just so, I don't know, it's so like hard.
Yeah.
It's this hard, rigid line. It's actually this really long 6-week kind of limbo period that we're still in right now, where we're just kind of going, here we are in winter, la di da. Like whatever it is that's happening during this time, it's almost like it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like you get to flounder a bit. You get to, I don't know, try new things.
Well,
But
and how often during these times for people that have a jobby job get that time off between Christmas and New Year's, and we lose track of time and what day is
oh
it and
my
what time is
gosh.
it and what are we eating and all the things. And like I this time around was able to actually really enjoy it, right?
Good.
Like
Yeah. I was going to ask you how your break was.
to a certain degree. To a certain degree, right? Like we had a lot of stuff come
Some
up, a lot
chaos.
of like
Yeah.
medical things for my husband and then some medical things for one of my dogs, and it all kind of overlapped, and it was like I'm telling people, so we were at the ER for my husband and then we were at the ER for my dog, and then this happened and that happened, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, wait, was that Friday or was that Saturday
Uh-huh.
or what day was that? I don't even remember what day it was, but it very like obviously happened and it was very prominent in my brain what happened. But I was like, what day was what day did that happen?
Yeah.
Was it Saturday into Sunday or was it Friday into Saturday? And it was like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what day it was, but then it was like, doesn't really
Doesn't
matter.
matter. Yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
Well, and it's interesting that, you talk about that during moments like that where ER visits and chaos and worry and everything is kind of dropped for those things. Whatever time of year it is, that is the same cycle. Like
Mhm,
it's the same energy because that represents a cycle that you can be going through at any time,
mhm.
whatever the season. So it's that's going to happen anyway. I mean, how often anybody who's had hospital stays of any kind, whether it's like the ER overnight or it's like, a 3 month in the
Extended.
hospital thing, extended visit, whatever it is, as well as I do. Anybody listening, let me know if you agree. Time just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why the nurses have their like 24-hour clocks and stuff, because I think nurses working shifts all hours, you kind of lose track of like, is it lunchtime or is it midnight?
Hmm.
I have no idea.
Depends on what shift I'm working and
Yeah,
how long I've been here.
it all
And
feels the same. I mean, it's all
hmm
kind of like, I don't know what's going on. And you get that sense in that same time period. So
hmm
that fits. That really encompasses what it feels like to be in that liminal space where you're just like, yeah, most of us experience that, whether it was a chaotic time or whatever we were doing was like,
hmm
what day is it? Because
Have we eaten?
Christmas was Wednesday no,
Was
it was Thursday
Thursday.
or
And then it was like 2 days after Christmas that this happened. And so that
yeah,
was Saturday. And yeah, it was.
everything felt like a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
My husband only got, just like the holiday days off.
Mm.
Um, and then he took a couple of days off here and there. So it was weird because he was home Monday and Friday, or no, he was working Monday and Friday, but there was like a weekend when the holiday was happening,
In the
and then a
middle.
weekend that was actually a weekend that he was home. And then, so just his schedule being different made it so that I was like,
Wait, what day is it?
day is it? What do we do? That wasn't a weekend?
Wait,
No, that was a
now it's
holiday.
Gregorian.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So
No.
yeah, that was but speaking of it does kind of feel like a reset. We had our winter solstice reset event that
Mhm.
was back on winter solstice. The day before winter solstice, we had our event and that was excellent. So I wanted to touch base in case everybody was like, what
What
happened? It was beautiful. It
it
was a
was.
wonderful day and
And
all of
it
the crystals set up. How
mm.
did you feel about that? That was a lot of work for you, but
Well, I was gonna say, like, the whole time thing when we were doing that event, it was almost like time didn't exist.
yeah.
And it was things just were
So
flowing very nicely and things were happening, and then all of a sudden it was like, "Oh my gosh, we need to do this, and we need to be over here," and we but it didn't
yeah,
feel rushed, it didn't feel like we were
no.
pushing anything, it was yeah, it was probably one of my favorite days,
Yeah. Yeah. It
like,
was excellent.
of all time, because it was just something that just came together so nicely, and not to say that it was effortless, because there was a lot
It's a
of
lot of
time,
work.
a lot of effort, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into it, a lot of thought, a lot of, intention. A lot of
Mhm.
intention went into making this event, but what was beautiful was it was intention from you, intention from me,
Yeah,
intention so everybody was putting their best foot forward,
I think so. Yeah.
and it brought together, just a beautiful event that flowed very nicely, and the connections that I was able to make with people that whether they are new to their journey on crystals or they're familiar with it, I was able to take a custom bracelet order and then have that person come into my shop. And it was just like, just so many beautiful encounters that it was, yeah.
Yeah, that's gotta be my favorite one of my favorite things about doing something like that. And I've never done anything quite like that. I've done a lot of different things, but that was a unique experience. And, to what you said, I loved that Danielle, who did the breath work, so
Hmm.
the collective, if you want to go check that out, she did the breath work session. And she was like, I've never done a breath work session with this
This many
many people.
people. Hmm.
And I mean, I thought it went wonderful.
Hmm.
And um, Cambria, Women, Wealth, and Woo that did the sound healing. So we kind of were, it kind of felt like opening acts and then the breath work and sound bath. But I think we all put in, and this is kind of rare. I mean, when you're working in a collaboration with four people, this is the first time we've all really worked together in this way.
Hmm.
So to know that all four of us really put in kind of an equal amount of effort and intention and everything to it, it didn't feel like anybody, it was like, oh, I'm doing so much and this person just kind of showed up on the day and did whatever. It felt like everybody really worked hard on this
Hmm.
and equally put in and tried to make this an experience for everybody that came
Yeah.
what it was.
Yeah.
And I think it was.
It
I think they
was. It
did.
was beautiful. It was amazing, and I was there with my daughter, and that was her first experience with breath work
Oh,
and sound
yeah.
healing. So that was a very beautiful thing to be able to be a part of and provide that for her.
Hmm.
And she helped me, bring in all the crystals and set everything up. And then she was very interactive with people and selling the crystals and talking to people about them. And then this is the first time I've ever done a rent a crystal.
Yes.
So that was really interesting and very cool to watch people kind of gravitate towards something. And I almost could feel like as they were like, I want to take this one and just use it today. I could feel almost immediately they're going to come back and buy that or they're going
Mm,
to just return it. And so it was like this really cool experience to
yeah.
watch how that unfolded.
And allowing that experience to happen in that it is what it needs to be.
Hmm.
Like they maybe just do need this crystal for today and to help them through today's experience. And that's
Hmm.
okay too. Like
Right.
to I think it was an excellent idea to be like, how can I make it so that they don't feel pressured to buy the crystals if they don't want to, but they're there and involved in the whole event. I
Yeah.
think that was an excellent idea.
Yeah, and it came together nicely and everything was really great. Like the whole thing was just it was just amazing. And I would love to be able to do that again soon.
Yeah.
But as we're talking about it, one
Mhm.
thing that kept coming up was we're talking about there's the four of us
Mhm.
and the efforts that the four of us put into it. And it's almost like the four elements. Did you ever
Yeah.
like think of it that way? Because I didn't before now. But as
Huh.
we're now talking about it, because
I could probably sit and tell you, like, if I sat and really thought about it, I'd be like, who is each element?
yeah, no, because
We probably fit into those really well.
we know Cambria's fire.
For sure.
We know that you're water.
Yeah.
We know that I'm earth.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure if Danielle fits into air, but she really does because
Ooh.
she's very like
Yeah. I don't know
fluid.
about
She's
her
like
astrological sign. I don't remember. She said Virgo.
Virgo, and then she's a Taurus moon. So I know
Yeah.
she's
She's a
also
lot of
very
earth,
earthy
but
too, but
she definitely fits with air really well because
mhm,
as we sat together with ideas and stuff, she was really kind of a communication bond
mhm.
between us,
Well, and she did breath work.
and she did the
That's
breath work.
air.
Oh my God.
This is so this like honestly, this is
Yeah,
all things that are just coming
I didn't
to
even think
me
of that.
right now. I was like, there was four of us. There's the four elements. There was
And
like
there we
that
all are.
whole coming together and
And
providing.
then me as water,
Mm.
the emotional one, just sitting in a corner crying, which I can't say I didn't do once in a while. I did a little bit of that. But
Mhm.
that's my process.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what
and
I need.
everybody does it differently. We
But
all
yeah,
process
emotional.
it differently.
Um,
We all approach it differently, and that's what
yes.
I loved was
And it
we
was
were all
all
able to
needed.
come to this event as our authentic selves,
Yeah.
and we were all accepted and supported within our authentic selves.
Hmm.
We might have had been called out of our comfort zone a little bit here and
Yeah.
there.
I think each of us, I thought about that too after the event, is just how there were moments you could almost mark throughout the whole
Mhm.
experience where we were each valued for what we put into it, but we were also each pushed a little bit.
Yes.
Like,
Mhm.
like, okay, I have to confront some stuff about myself or about like how I do things that it's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah,
And that's okay.
and that is okay,
It's
and
growth and
the best thing about it was it was a safe space to do that. We were with
mhm.
people that we felt safe with, that
Yeah.
we could be vulnerable and we could say, "Hey, I'm not really comfortable with this." And it would
Yeah.
be like, "Okay, well, I'm going to help hold space for you while you
Well, we,
navigate through that."
hmm,
So I thought it was
yeah.
really just a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
All in all.
We made Danielle dance in some of the
Mhm.
promotional videos we made for social media.
And
And
me. Yeah.
she's like, I don't do that. I don't usually do show up that way.
And my husband's like, "Danielle, how do you feel about that?"
Yeah. Well,
Very cool, very
me
fun.
and Cambria, who have Leo in our chart, are just like, "Woo, let's
Look at us,
dance,
look at
let's
us.
go. Yeah. So
Mm.
anyway, to catch you up, that's something that we got to do to kick off the Yuletide season and to be able to go into facilitating other people or the participants that came, facilitating them into that reset space, into what wintertime allows us to do. Um, I'm looking back at the last couple weeks and thinking, did I go into my space enough to rest or into? I think I tried. I mean, I think there's some things where I felt like, oh, I still have to like go, go, go. I've got things to do and I want to catch up on things. And um, if it had been my choice, I don't know if I would have worked quite so hard on the other podcast project, Parallel Frequencies. Go check it out. We're officially launching coming soon, but we've been working on it and planting the seeds and getting it going and things like that. And our producer, Jess Blaine, you've heard us talk about, his cycle is in his boom of creativity right now. So while I'm like, winter, rest,
Hibernation.
cozy, hibernation, he's like, let's go. And I'm like, well, okay, maybe I can go a little bit.
I can show
I've
up.
been, I've been like pulling myself along. So it's not a bad thing. It's just, it is what it is. It's part of like, yeah, sometimes you do still have to work. You still have to do the things that you want to do during the winter, but how can you find ways to also not launch new things, not step into that space of go, 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 which is why, and this was the question I was going to ask about New Year's resolutions. How do you feel about that? I could probably infer from what you've said. Do you do the New Year's
It's
resolutions at all?
I have previously. It's been a long time since I really sat down and was like, these are the things I'm going to do. But 99% of the time, it was I want to lose weight.
I know. Isn't that everybody?
It's the dumbest thing. I want to start working out and I want to lose weight. And it's like you're putting so much pressure on yourself. And you're like, oh my gosh, we're this far into the year and I haven't done this and I haven't done that. And it's like, I've never succeeded at whatever that is because I don't know that I've ever really like laid out a plan.
Yeah.
But it's like, I want to lose weight. Yeah. Well, whatever. So I also
Yeah.
wanted
It's
to say
very
I'm really bad at that whole thing, and I'm not very good at rituals yet either, because I wanted to do
Yeah.
the whole 13 wishes or 12 wishes, and I did. I wrote them down
Yeah.
and I had them
Yeah.
in a little
Tell me.
bag,
Tell me.
and I burned 2 of them. So, I still have the rest of them sitting in
That
the
is so
bag.
real.
I'm like,
Can I confess something? I wasn't sure I was gonna confess this, but now that you've said that, I feel like we gotta say it. We
yeah,
gotta say it.
yeah.
Okay. Because I want to talk about that for a second. I want to talk about rituals for a second. I did the 12 wishes too. In fact,
Mhm.
our whole family did. My parents did it with us. We did it at the next night. So we talked about it. I had paper and pen and things for people to do it at the event. But winter solstice being the next night, my family and I celebrated. We always do like a dark dinner. We do, which just means we turn off all the lights and use candles.
Yeah.
So special. But we do dark dinner. We do a Yule log cake, and we try to make it kind of a feast. I'm not, the best cook, so I'm usually like grabbing a rotisserie chicken and rolls at the grocery store or something like. I mean, I try to cook. I try to make it special. So we have a feast, and then we sing songs. We have like winter solstice songs that our family learns, kind of like you do Christmas songs. So we sing those together and read stories and read our books, and we do all kinds of things. And then I'm like, let's do these 12 wishes because this is the first year that we're going to try that. So everybody sat down and wrote their 12 wishes out, cut them into strips, put them in little envelopes with our name on it. I have a little cauldron on my altar where we could burn them. And we all burned the first one that night. And then it was like 5 nights later that like my parents were like, are we still doing that? And I go, oh my gosh,
Oh, yeah.
we just have it bedtime at our house with the kids getting ready and everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, let's just hurry and we'll catch up
We'll
or
burn
whatever.
6 of
We'll
them.
burn 6 of them. We fine. So we had to take it outside because by that point, burning 6 of them each was going to be like a bonfire. So
Yeah.
we had to take the whole thing outside and catch up on some things, and then my dad was really good at getting it done. Like he kept going. We were like,
Chaos.
it was chaos.
Mhm.
So I am still going to have to catch up. I still have my whole family has catch up to do. But what I really loved is my dad, I hope he doesn't mind me sharing, that he had a wish, his last wish, and he came in and he was like, I have my last one. I know what my focus this year is going to be. And it was my mom's health,
Oh,
like helping her with her health and helping her feel better. And she's, struggling with a lot of health issues. So I was like, oh, that's really sweet. I think that worked out perfect. And
yeah.
so I'm really glad that he did it and got it out. The rest of
He
us are
had some
like,
motivation. He was like, "I wanna get this done." And, yeah, it was interesting because I previous to the event here in the shop, actually brought paper and pen and wrote down the 3 wishes, cut them out, put them in a bag, and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna start on winter solstice." And I did. That night, I was really good about it. Went out
yeah,
in my backyard and burned one. I was like, "Hey, this is gonna happen." 3 nights went by and I was like, "Oh, crap." So I went and burned, 3 of them, and I was like, "Okay, now I'm gonna do this." And then shit hit the
yes,
fan and I was like,
I know.
life took over
Life
and
is what it
I
is.
was in bed most of those nights, like, by 8 or 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
If I wasn't here in the shop, I was dead to the world. Because when it's dark at 4,
I know, right?
I'm like, 8
See,
o'clock comes and I'm like, "It
see,
feels like midnight. I need to go to bed." My daughter got home from the shop because 'cause we're closing at 8 now. She got home from the shop at, like, 8:15. And she walked in and was like, "I need to go to bed. It's getting late." She looks at me. She's like, "Mom, it's like 8:15." I was like, "I know, but it feels really late. So I'm going to bed."
it's fair. It's winter. Winter gives you that feeling for a reason. It is like your body and nature and the
Mhm.
whole earth and everything telling you it's time to slow down. Like do
Yeah.
less. So I've been actually trying to honor that a little bit more where I'm like, I'm not going to be go, go, go doing things, during the dark hours. Like I'm going to let that be, if I've got stuff to do or if I've got to get stuff done, it's going to be during the daylight hours when the sun is up, when the sun starts to go down. it's my cue to finish things up and be done for the day,
Yeah.
and maybe go to bed early. I wish. Shoot. I've been going to bed at like 1 a.m. I'm like,
Oh,
what? I've had
nope.
insomnia crazy bad, which means something's off. Like that's a great telltale sign that your
Mhm.
body is like not doing well. So I think it's great that you've been honoring that and you're like,
Yeah.
it's 8:15. I'm going to bed. Like
Mhm.
it's dark outside. It's been dark for 4 hours already.
Yeah.
We're going to bed. But I did want to say about rituals because you're not alone. And everybody who's listening right now, all the thousands and millions of people listening, our beautiful fans, I just want you to know that that doesn't make you a bad witch or a bad magical person or a bad mystic or whoever, whatever you call yourself. It's absolutely normal to have that experience. And some of us are very much magical people, very much witchy people, and don't do a lot of formal ritual.
Mhm.
Your rituals really need to be things you are almost excited to do. Like, uh, you can't possibly forget to do them because you're like, that's why I wake up in the morning is to do
Yeah.
this. So if you're not feeling that way towards it and you're just like, I just don't remember to do it, that's totally fine. I mean, that does not mean that the intention isn't still there or that you can create something that works for you. I know people that they're like, my only ritual that I do is I wake up and I check the weather.
Mm.
That's the first thing I do when I wake up is I just either step outside and just do a little feel. What's the weather like today? And that's it. Or I look out the window, check, see what the weather's doing. Just get connected with the outdoors and the the weather. That's it.
Yeah.
That's a ritual. So
Okay.
it doesn't have to be a super duper formal thing. You don't have to set up a whole altar space, although you can, and I love doing that, and I can show you how. But having like everything set up just beautiful and wonderful and all that, it's great for Instagram. I mean, if you want to make a video and show people like, look at how amazing I am, go ahead and do that. But it doesn't have to look like that at all.
So I can still
So
burn my wishes.
I'm going to. I'm
Should
like,
I just do
hey,
them all at once or should I like spread them out? Because honestly, there's probably a good
again,
10 that need to be burned at this point.
and actually, this was a question by one of the participants at the event that we did. I told everybody about the 12 wishes. I said there's going to be cards on the table when you're grabbing your tea during the break. You can write your wishes. So I kind of set it up for people to be able to do. And one of the participants kind of pulled me aside, and she's like, "Oh, so I actually read about this, and but they said it was 13 wishes, and that you're supposed to start it on Christmas Eve." Or December 9th, or I
Yeah.
can't remember. And I was like, yeah, I heard that too. And I said, honestly, I'm going to be really real with you. It doesn't matter.
Whatever feels good to you. And like the winter solstice felt good to me. Like
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to start on that day.
Yeah. And we
And I
did.
did.
We
I did.
did.
Yes. We
Congratulations to
started.
us.
We started.
Gold star on
Mhm.
your nose. It it's just fine. I mean, like I think that there are certain, influences and power and frequency that correspond with things like color, things like crystals, things like numbers, numerology. There is something to all of that. And I'm not saying it's not nothing and it doesn't matter. But I am saying is what you make of it matters the most.
Yeah. Where your
So
intention is.
if you're like 13 is the right number, I want 13 because that feels like
That's
the
what I did.
numerology is right or whatever,
Hmm.
then do that. If you're like 12, because 12 is the 12 days of Christmas or the
And it's
12 days of Yule or
an even number, not an odd
even
number.
number,
Yeah.
then that means more to you. And when you start it and when you want to end it, that also is all entirely your practice. Because I just don't believe in the whole gatekeeping thing where things absolutely have to be this way or that way. And I know people who do rituals and their intention behind doing a ritual is to carry tradition.
Mm.
Their intention is, I want to do things as close to the way my grandmother did it from the old country, and I want my kids to see it that way. Then maybe doing it according to an exact science or an exact process is really important. But if your intention is to make it about what you want and to go forward doing that, I think that you're creating the ritual. So you do it how it's going to feel right for you.
Right.
So it just totally depends. Because there's something to be said for like, hey, back in Italy in my grandmother's time, they did things exactly like this. And I want to carry that on. So people, my descendants, know the way my ancestors did it. That's really powerful too.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that's not everybody's purpose.
Right. Yeah. This is all like new to me,
Yeah.
and creating rituals and doing things like that. Sometimes it just doesn't land the
Yeah.
way I want it to, but
But no
then there's
shame.
there's always that,
No
like, I
shame.
see my little bag of wishes still sitting on my counter and I'm like, "Oh, I should totally do that."
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it still isn't done and it's just there. And but also what I thought was interesting is I don't know if you do this, but when we're winding down in the evening time, like after we've had dinner, my husband and I kind of watch TV or just kind of hang out in the living room, and we send each other reels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my husband
Oh, yeah.
sends me this reel and I open it up and it's talking about the 12 wishes. And I start looking at it. I was like, that's funny. I'm already doing this. And he's like, you are? And I was like, yeah, you want to do it too? And he's like, oh, I don't know. And he's just kind of one of those that's like, he sees these things and he thinks of me.
Yeah.
So he sends them to me and he's like,
That's really sweet.
and it is really, really cool because he's starting to kind of come around to that way of seeing things
Yeah.
and being a little bit more mystical. And he turned to me the
That's
other day and
beautiful.
he goes, I think I need to do some shadow work. And
Ooh.
I was like,
Ooh, big words. Okay.
all right, big man, let's go. And I was like, it took everything for me to not go, well, duh.
Yeah.
We all need to
We
do
can be
some
kind.
shadow
Yeah.
work. But I was like,
I know.
yeah,
I smile.
what does that look like for you? And so we kind of started talking about the different modalities and the ways that I've done a little bit of my shadow work. And um, he's like, should I go to therapy? And I was like, oh my God, yes, yes. But also,
Totally.
you know what I mean? Like, I've been talking a little bit to Danielle about doing a private breath work because I
Mm-hmm.
think it's really hard to really release
Yeah.
when you're in a group setting, and especially a group
Yeah.
of a lot of people. When you're dealing with things that are really heavy, really dark, really emotional,
Yeah.
it's
And
hard.
there's still like a lot of shame wrapped in it. That's
Mhm,
what I notice is for people who have kind of worked through the shame around it, they're
mhm.
like, I can do this in front of anybody because it doesn't matter, right? Like I
We all
know
have
that
it.
everybody has it and
Yeah,
that if I cry in front of everybody, it's because I'm a human too, like everybody.
right.
But I think when you're first starting out, there's so much shame wrapped around everything that, yeah, you're like, I can't say the
I
thing
can't
and I
let
can't
this
let
go.
this.
Other
Yeah.
people are gonna see it, other people are gonna hear it. And what I've learned is even in those big group settings, nobody's like, "Ooh, what's
No.
Jamie doing over there?
Uh-uh.
Oh, I heard Jamie doing this." And you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Nobody else is paying attention to what
Not
I'm
at
doing.
all.
I'm the one paying attention to it. So I need to be okay and letting that go. But anyway, I've been talking to her about doing private breath work for me, also for my daughter, because that was her first experience. And one of the things that she said was like, Mom, I had a really hard time letting go.
Yeah.
And I was like, that totally makes sense. And I hope you were still able to get some benefit from it. And she was. But, talking to him about what that looks like, what that feels like, how it helps you let go,
Mhm.
and the sound healing and the Reiki sessions. And
Mhm.
and he goes, well, what do you feel like benefited you the most? And I was like, all of it?
Yeah, that's a really hard question to answer. I mean, especially because it's so
Different.
different for every person. I mean, like when I first started out, I was going, I would have an experience like with someone who did a modality that um didn't resonate with me, but I wasn't doubting that it was doing something. I just didn't feel anything
Mhm.
because they would kind of like maybe they're doing it over the phone or they were, doing Reiki or something, but they were like, okay, so there's a lot of ancestral things here, and I'm going to go ahead and clear that. I'm going to do da 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 da. da. And for a lot of people, hearing their testimony of that modality would be like, it changed my life.
Mhm.
So much was cleared from me that I just could see and think clearly about what I needed to do and what my path was. And um, it just, it opened me up completely. Whereas I was like,
Mm.
I don't I can't feel that anything happened.
Right.
You just told me it happened, but
Mhm.
I don't feel
I don't
different.
feel it. Yeah.
And when I tried integrated processing technique and, was again over the phone, somebody, talking me through it and I'm talking through it, I had this incredibly profound experience, but that felt different because it felt like I was consciously being put in the driver's seat
Mm.
while someone navigated me. And then I was like, I see what I'm doing. I can feel the shifts happening
And
here.
that's what worked for
And that's
you.
what worked for me.
So when I was having this conversation with him, I said like all of the different things because like I would go to a talk therapy session and without saying, hey, we're doing shadow work. It was more of just
Right.
like, let's look and see what comes up. Let's talk about what comes up. Things would come to the surface and then it would be the end of the session.
Yeah.
Right. So then I would have this thing that I knew I needed to process and work through.
But now what?
And then I would go have a sound bath or I would go have a Reiki session.
Yes.
And that's what would help me kind of process through whatever that was that came to the surface.
Oh.
But there were also times in therapy that things would come to the surface. In the beginning of our session, we had time to work through it. So it was like, no matter
Mhm.
what it was, no matter what modality I was working in, I was almost always able to find a way. But it was also being aware, hey, so during this session, during this modality, this specific thing came up
Mhm.
and it's still not resolved.
Yeah.
So I need to find a way to resolve it. I need something,
Yeah.
right?
I
So
need
that's
something to latch
when
on to that's going to
mhm,
get me to the other side of that. Yeah.
yeah, and it wasn't always like that, but just trying to help him understand, hey, it's not going to be one thing.
Yeah.
This isn't a one thing fixes all type of a journey.
Or an arrival point,
Right. And
no matter
yeah.
what you do.
Right.
I mean, look at those of us that are healers and in this kind of light worker world or however you want to describe it. If we don't continue doing our own healing work, we're useless to anyone else. So
Mhm.
like we're never at a point where we're okay, now I'm this enlightened I thought maybe that I wanted that. I just wanted to be more zen, honestly. When I
Mhm.
started out I was like, can I just calm down?
Peace. I need some
Can I just not have anxiety all the time? And I have got and it has helped me infinitely. Like I can't even describe to you the difference. But do
Mhm.
I have moments where I'm still a hot mess? Absolutely. And I know now what that means and what that is going to take to work through.
Mhm.
But I don't want anyone out there thinking that there's an arrival point you get to where you're like, now I know all the things.
Mhm. Now I'm healed.
Yeah, I think they describe Jesus is that type is
Buddha.
the enlightened beings and the enlightened they call them the ascended masters
Mhm.
where maybe they were possibly those people, but we don't know.
Yeah. He I
We
just
don't
don't
know.
think it's possible as a human being. And even Buddha was a human, Jesus was a human. We're all humans.
Yeah.
That at some point we regress a little bit,
Yeah.
right?
Or
Like you can't
struggle
just
or are
always be
challenged.
like, hey, while this person is pushing my buttons, I'm still ascended and it doesn't bother me and I don't
I
ever get
so with.
stressed. But how wonderful would that be? But also how like inhuman, right?
Yeah.
How do
Then what
you
are you?
still be human and move through life, learn and continue to grow
Yeah.
if you're just constantly at this place of peace, as
Yeah.
wonderful as that sounds, right?
Yeah. Then nothing
And
bothers
I was
you.
gonna say too is like
Handle.
I used to be that person that I there was a moment in my life, a period of time where anxiety controlled everything I did. I
Mhm.
wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating. I remember, and this for whatever reason, this conversation keeps coming back to my mind lately, where I lost a lot of weight. And I remember a neighbor of mine, we were at some scouts thing, and a neighbor who kind of was trying to be friendly at some point, but she says to me, "Oh my gosh, you've lost a lot of weight. What have you done?" And I was like, "Honestly, I've had a lot of anxiety. I'm not sleeping or eating, so that's what I've done." And they were like, "That's not what I was expecting." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it wasn't like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, I'm sorry to
Usually
hear
it's like
that,"
a you
or
look great. What are
right,
you doing? And you're like,
yeah,
I am
I'm eating,
miserable.
I'm exercising, I'm doing all the right things. It was like, no, I am a mess. I am a mess right now. I am
Yes.
struggling through life.
Yeah.
And it's actually physically presenting itself in a way
Yes.
that you think looks great.
Yeah. How yeah. Well, that's we could go into beauty standards and society and all
Yeah,
the things.
we're not going to do that. But when we talk about when we talk about a level, right? The level of anxiety at that point in my life,
Yeah.
I was out of control and I didn't know what else to do. And so then I started going back to therapy, and now where I am right now, all of those things that have assisted me in my journey.
Mm-hmm.
They've helped me heal. They've helped me learn who I am and being able to give myself some grace when I'm feeling, oh my gosh, life is out of control. I feel anxious, but guess what? It's okay. I can feel that right now. And I can understand that this is not going to stay forever.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a reason that I'm feeling this. I'm stressed. I'm anxious. I'm
Yeah.
overwhelmed. So I'm going to allow myself to feel this for now.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it passes, and be like, okay, that was fun. Let's do something different now. Let's be a little bit more productive. But
Yeah.
the way that I look at it, the way that I approach it, the way that I give myself grace rather than shame when those moments present themselves is life changing, life altering, and not just for me, but for the people around me,
Yeah.
right? For my
Yeah.
family
The ripple
members,
effect is
right?
real.
Yeah. So, like this little boy right here, he's very attuned to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes when he's like this, and all I have to do is go, and he's like, "Mom, are you okay?" You know what I mean? And it's
His
so
little ear.
interesting to like watch the way that my dogs respond to me
Yeah.
when I'm in those moments, and it actually brings me more present and aware. But yeah, that's a whole other thing too, is the way the animals have an
Oh, we should
affinity.
do an episode about that.
Yes.
Animals, animal support.
Hmm.
That gives me some great ideas.
So, I did
But
want to talk
that's
about.
actually what I wanted to point out when you said like that. I notice now when I'm not, really aligned and shift back to without the shame and things like that you had before, you're able to be more aware. And I thought of the definition of sin and repentance
Mhm.
that originally in the translation of, the Bible, the New Testament, and you check out Megan Watterson's interpretations of the Gospel of Mary, and she talks about how the interpretation of sin is actually that. So, I mean, if we were to go by the old interpretation of sin, being not aligned, being in that anxiety, not sleeping, that is sin. And then the coming back to, I'm going to release the shame and I'm going to release the things I can't control and I'm going to come back to my aligned self. That is repentance.
Mm.
So it can apply to so many things. It doesn't mean like sin is what you do bad and repentance is what you do
Feeling sorry for being bad.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because
All of
that's
the new interpretations of it that the religion has brought into it. So I just wanted to point that out because that was an interesting.
and that was a conversation I had with my husband recently too. It was like talking about, because I saw something that you had posted about the definition of sin, and I was like,
Mm.
oh my gosh. So Jesus died for all of those moments in our lives that we fall out of alignment with ourselves. And then he was crucified and died for those so that we could learn how to come back to ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Not so we could go, oh, please
Yeah.
forgive me for losing my way and for saying a bad word while I was really frustrated. You know what I mean? Like,
That was me at 12.
that was
I'm like,
me
I said a bad
all the time.
word.
I'm so
Please,
sorry.
please
I
forgive
thought
me.
this bad thing about my brother, whatever it was. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't need to ask somebody else for forgiveness. I need to forgive
It's within
myself.
you, which is
Yeah.
actually what Christ's teachings were about,
Hmm.
by the way. They were about going inward, finding the God within and the place where the mind, heart, and soul connect. Um, and when they talked about God, it was the good, right? It
Yeah.
was God is the good in you.
In all
So
of us.
it's not like don't glorify this, glorify what is inherent within you. So
And give yourself grace.
for
We
those who are
we
deconstructing
all
religious
do it.
trauma, that's part of what that's about. So you can begin that work. So yeah, 12 wishes, just maybe by springtime, I think.
Yeah.
that's when the new year is really rebirthing anyway. So I'm
Yeah.
like February 1st is in bulk the first of the planting seasons, which we'll talk about in an upcoming episode that we have planned. So let's talk about in bulk, and we have plenty of time.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about
Labradorite.
Labradorite.
Which is
Yay! I
really
have
interesting
some.
because as we started talking and doing the podcast, this piece was like, "Hey, look at me, hold me." So I've been holding this little piece of labradorite, and in the right light, she has this beautiful pink and purple flash. And what I love about crystals like labradorite, like rainbow moonstone, you look at it like this. Like I could show it to you, and from this distance, it looks like a
Yeah,
little gray
right.
crystal, right? But as you move it around and the color starts to come out.
Oh, it's my favorite.
Those
That's
are
my
like
favorite.
those are the best. And as we're talking about
Oh,
turning
I'm going to show
within,
you.
looking at the goodness within ourselves, this is what this type of crystal reminds me of. Is sometimes we feel a little dull and gray,
There it is.
but when we let the light hit us in the right way, our inner beauty starts to come out and shine. So that's where I think this is really beautiful and where it's kind of tying everything together for us today is
Yes.
labradorite is great for grounding, for protection, but it's also a really great way to remind us of the beauty that lies within ourselves. Connecting to our own intuition, connecting to our own abilities. It's a beautiful crystal for that. So I think it,
I love that.
as much as we're talking about a theme or whatever today, it ties into it very, very nicely.
It actually,
Because
yeah, it kind of going back to the card that we pulled at the beginning, and what you said about it's that sort of quiet power that we were talking
Mhm.
about with this particular card. Is I
Mm.
felt like it's not outwardly like shouting at you,
Yeah.
um, which yeah, Labradorite. I love how it, just like you said, it on first appearance, it's like yeah, it's a rock, like
Mhm.
it's gray, brown, nothing real different
Stands out
stands
about.
out about it.
Yeah.
Like it could just be another garden in your rock in your garden if you just saw it.
Mhm.
But people making jewelry out of it and getting that shine and rainbow out of it.
Mm.
I have a lot of labradorite in my jewelry. I think these have. Is that labradorite in the back of
It
these
looks like
earrings?
abalone,
Oh, abalone. Oh yeah, yeah. You're probably right.
but it does have, like, the color flash
That
like you do
color
have.
flash
Yeah, it's just
is my favorite. I
yeah.
love everything that has like that rainbow, the colors. That just appeals to me so much, which is why I am prism healing.
Yeah,
I named it
color.
that because colors are really powerful in healing work. So that being said, go check out Prism Healing. We sponsor this podcast, Prism Healing, where I do energy healing work, card readings, and I can do those virtually or in person. So if you're clear across the country from where we're at, don't worry, I have plenty of options. Go to prism-healing.com and you can book a session. And I'll just do a quick plug for the other podcast project that we are launching, Parallel Frequencies. If you like movies, TV shows, pop culture, we're breaking down lots of those things. And I am coming at it from a mystic come from as I talk about healing and emotional things with those uh, represented in art. And Just Blaine is coming at it from a frequency of he loves horror and he loves movies and he loves to break them down and talk about the making of the movies and the actors and all the things that go into it. So that's why it's called Parallel Frequencies, because we're coming from different places
Yeah.
to the same subject. So go check that out. And we are also sponsored by Rising Moon Minerals.
Yeah, so check us out on social media. If you just search Rising Moon Minerals, um, risingmoonminerals.com. So if you're local here in Utah, you can order online and pick up here in the shop. You can come in the shop and pick out your pieces. I love just connecting with people and having conversations. So come in and say hi or send me a message, whatever sounds good. But yeah, Courtney is showing our new bookends. So this is Mexican
These are so
calcite.
cool.
They are solid pieces of calcite that are just beautiful. So they are sold in sets.
Yeah.
And yeah, so some new
This one
stuff.
kept calling to me. I kept
Yeah,
well, you
I
said
love
something
that
about
one.
winter or snow or something like that,
Hmm.
and I looked over and this is what I saw, and I was like,
Hmm.
"That feels so
I love that one because it is polished and cut, obviously, but on the edges,
one side."
they are raw, rough, beautiful, just its natural beauty. So I do love pieces like that that show both, like what it looks like when it comes out of the earth, and then what it looks like when man has cleaned it, polished it, and made it look
Like,
nice.
really showing all of the
So
beauty in there.
yeah, there's a lot of new stuff that we're adding regularly. So check
Yeah.
it out.
Come on into the shop if you're local and go check out the website if you're not. We are happy to help anybody that wants to shout out a question. You need some guidance on choosing a crystal. That's what Jamie is perfect for. So write in your questions. We have our website, practically magic.com is the podcast website, but we're also on YouTube. We'd love to draw some more attention to YouTube so we can get those subscribers and views up because that's fairly new. We were publishing this podcast for a couple of seasons, but all over all platforms. We still do, but that's why the YouTube channel is still like slowly climbing its little numbers. So we'd love to direct you there if you haven't seen us on YouTube. Subscribe to this podcast, and then you can make comments on the videos and you can ask us questions. We would love to feature your questions. So if you have something in particular that you're struggling with in life and you want some advice and you want anything that we have to offer, we would love to help you. That's what we're here for. That's what
Yes.
we love doing this podcast for, is
Yeah.
for you guys. So we'll see you next time. Go make magic, witches and wizards.
Bye.
Bye.